Hello and welcome to TV Chef Fantasy League. I'm your host and commissioner, Sierra Cato, here with my co-hosts Mike Cabellon and Ify Wadiway.
Remote once again.
Here we
Remote
are
Remote.
once
doing it from the
again.
remote
So,
zone.
you
Hold it
know,
down.
our new studio is loading. Very excited about that.
If I see that you're
Um,
rocking an Austin hat where you just came from, any food reports from Austin?
Oh yeah. I mean, you got the early scoop, which was I did go to Arlo Gray. We went to Kristen Kish's own.
ooh.
They were real cute about it too when they were like, Kristen isn't here with us because she's off shooting the next season of
Of
Top
course,
Chef.
of course.
Yeah, we got
Oh, I thought you were going to say Traders, but yeah, I guess that's already filmed.
That's already
Yeah.
filmed. That's in the
Oh,
can.
yeah.
That's ready to go.
Yee.
Yeah, but we
Can't wait.
we ate very well, and it was really good because Amanda, friend of the pod, from Top
Top
Chef, went ahead and gave us the reservation. Kind of put a little note in that was like, "Hey, it's Amanda, it's my friend." So we got the full like chef treatment with the
Hell yeah.
extra
Hell yeah.
on it. So I'm pulling it up just to really knock it out and see. So we had the rainbow trout crudo,
Okay.
and we had the roasted acorn squash,
Okay.
and then they gave us these ricotta beignets with some like this like butter and caviar to put on top. That was out of this world, off
Wow.
menu treat right off the bat. That was
Perfect.
so good. Yeah, I could not could it was out of this world. Then they gave us a sample of their rigatoni, which is something they say stays on the menu year round, and their crispy rice is what we ordered, which was phenomenal. And then for our protein, we had a 16-ounce grilled Berkshire pork chop, and
Nice.
it was heavenly.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
Wait, say what Em just said out loud.
M said maybe the best pork chop I've ever had
Oh,
is what she
Wow. High
said.
praise.
It was so phenomenal. It was next level. Could not recommend like that enough if you go. And then for dessert, we had their toasted sourdough ice cream, their lime sorbet, and their it was it's not on here, but they had an Earl Grey monkey bread that they
Ooh.
had.
Oh,
Ooh, monkey bread as a dessert. Strong move.
Yeah.
Love it.
It was
wait, toasted sourdough ice cream.
Yes. So they basically they use all of their sourdough and put it in a custard, and it has this like light sweetness without being too sweet, very like balanced, flavorful, creamy texture, and then crumbles of kind of like sourdough with some sugar at the
Ooh.
bottom, and then
Big
some
yes.
toast. Yeah. Oh, it was like nothing I've ever tasted before,
Wow.
and was so good.
Okay,
10
so
out of 10.
Kristen Kish cooking lives up to the hype.
Oh, it really does. And we also did go to Ola May post Michelin star. They just recently got their Michelin star.
Nice. Congrats.
They switched it up too, where they do kind of a prefix menu, but obviously we just did a la carte and just grabbed a whole bunch of things. Got the biscuits, got the pork chop there that I actually like. I had to run to a show, so we got some like takeout, and I
Classy.
carried that on the plane all the way back here, heated it up,
Oh,
Wow.
ate it because it was that good. And
Wow.
the biscuits, we will keep talking about the biscuits until the end of time. It was out of this world, and even reheated right now was really good. We had the
Wow.
Oysters Rockefeller. We went ahead and we
Okay.
did their beef tartare, which was great. Their tuna crudo, which had a watermelon dashi.
Okay.
We had their pork chop, which was great. And we had they have this like cheesy dip for the biscuits too that we did, and it was so good. Oh
I
yes.
hope you. Oh,
The chicken and the what?
I'm with more
We're getting some sideline
Oh,
reporting
yes.
more
here.
items.
Yes, yes, and I'm glad you brought that up because I would have I would have hated to miss that. We got the chicken, which was great, which was the creamy jus peas pour celery, and then I'm not seeing it on the site, but they have a elevated oxtail, which
Ooh.
is divine.
Of
It's
course.
everything you want.
Of course.
It is-
Non-elevated oxtail is divine. Elevated
Exactly.
oxtail. Get out of here.
Wow.
Oh, and yeah, sweet. Basically made in sweet potato grits. 10 out of 10. I ate that this morning. I woke up and
Wow.
I
Breakfast.
Yeah.
yeah, it
Amazing.
was so good. 10 out
Wow.
of
I
10.
hope when you mentioned bringing things on the plane, also we should we're recording this a little later because you had a delayed flight. Obviously,
Oh, yeah.
government shutdown. We know that
Yeah,
the
yeah.
airports. If
Yeah.
anyone's
And the
flying,
whole time
we're
the
so
flight
sorry.
got delayed, I was like, well, as long as we're holding the line and we don't waffle on this and we actually make it worth our while, I don't care how late they delay. And of course, we wake up to see that we have
10
a few
Democratic senators across the
shame.
line. Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, caved. But I hope you didn't bring the tartare on your delayed flight.
Yeah.
No,
No
no,
oysters
That fresh.
Rockefeller on the flight.
Oh
yeah,
no, those
ideally-
those didn't make it out the restaurant. We got
Good,
course.
good. Yeah,
down there,
fresh.
yeah.
Rightfully
fresh.
so.
We don't want tartare on the plane.
Okay, this is a good transition into speaking of Top Chef. This is the time to announce that as the time we're recording, our poll has officially closed. So we sent a poll to all of our members that was part of Max Fun Drive to decide what show we're going to watch immediately after this because Bake Off is now done and we need a new show to watch. So we sent out a poll with a few options, some options that I was polling for, but what ended up winning, the winner, the show we're doing next is a random old season of Top Chef or Bake Off. And I guess we'll just kind of decide amongst ourselves what that's going to be. But so we'll pick an old show. I guess either we pick a season that somehow none of us have watched, but even then I'm like, it's too easy to Google the answers. Maybe we should just like auto draft the teams and just sort of let a computer decide what the teams are going to be.
That's a good solution. Yeah, I think it's going to be, because I actually haven't seen a lot of both past seasons. Top Chef more I've seen, but
Okay.
but even still, yeah, if we want to do research on them to draft them, I don't think we're going to be able to see past in their line of their bio that they won Top Chef season, 18 or whatever. So
right, yeah.
So we can discuss this, but thank you everybody who voted. Apparently it was a close one. So every vote counts. Thank you for participating and checking your email.
Yeah, if you're listening to this now and you're like, oh, hey, I didn't vote, you had like a week and a half to check your email, man. I don't know what to tell you.
It's hard. It's hard. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we do have a finale to cover here. How exciting.
Yes.
Truly a great finale. Also, it went by so fast this whole season. Can we say
blink
that
of an
about
eye
British
and it's gone.
Bake Off? Oh, yes. But glad we're finally here. Before we get into this, actually, one final little thing, a little points correction. Thank you to Potterpan, Judy, for writing in. Mike was indeed missing a point, I think, from episode 8.
Thank you, Judy. My
Big
hero.
save.
There goes my hero. Watch her as she goes.
So just to recap our totals at this time, Iffy has 25.5 points. I have 43 and Mike has 45.
Now we're
that's
talking.
What we're going into this.
Now we're talking.
As we know,
we all know who the winner
go
is.
Up for Mike. Yes.
That's right.
So if you're listening to this and haven't seen the finale, obviously watch it or listen along with us to find out. But okay. What's always fun about these finales or the finals or whatever you want to call them is that they do a little recap of the season. We get to see some of those bakers that we missed. Remember Hassan?
Oh, God. He was really prescient because the one clip they showed of him was an old being like, how far do you think he can go? And he said, tomorrow. And that's pretty much as far as he went.
He was, he was very aware of that, even though his Instagram looked great. Also, okay, here's what I'm going to say about him. He was my first draft. He went out first. So
yes, he did.
We also all, besides, I think, Iffy, you drafted Aaron first. So you did it right. Mike, you drafted Leighton first. Is that right?
I'm looking. No, I drafted Jessica first.
Oh, okay. So that's a little
Jessica's
better.
my first round.
I don't know
pick.
why I thought Leighton, but anyway, yeah.
Get
so
out
Jessica,
of here.
So that's a good one, but
slander.
But I had the worst pick. But we both thought we wanted Hassan. Hassan. And then at the end too, they showed that he was working on his bakes, and so I think he got better after Bake Off. And then his Instagram reflected that, and that's what we saw. So good thing to keep in mind for future drafting. Everybody is that the Instagram you're seeing is much later, so you never know.
Well, it's tough because
knocked out.
We kind of noticed this year when we were drafting is that a lot of them didn't have an Instagram and just made one when they announced that they were on the show, and then it was like a retrospective of every bake they've ever done in the last 30 years. It's just suddenly like, look, I can bake. You know what I mean?
Right. Like a big PR dump. They just do like a 9 grid of like a giant cake they made. But yeah, I do think he might have been somebody who the fire was lit under him after getting knocked out first.
Yeah. Look, better late than never does not help you in the slightest.
No.
If he literally gnawing on a pork chop bone mid-record.
Yeah, this is another pork chop.
Oh my God.
I ain't got much to say this episode. I do have thoughts. I have overall thoughts.
Okay.
Because...
Do you want
to hit us with those now with a mouthful of pork chop bit?
Of course, right now.
Pork chop thoughts.
Like, how are we feeling? Like, to me, it feels like watching this episode. To me, watching this episode. Just if we were watching it, Todd won. If we were judging it, Tom won. If we were doing Top Chef rules, and you're only as good as your last bake, Tom won. But
okay, I'll hear you out.
I'll say Tom won, and I think they know that because they say it's always you to her. And
well, he said that. Tom said that.
Yeah,
which I think was a little underhanded.
Yeah. I but. To me, here's what I feel like. I feel like they wanted Jessica to win from the jump. I think Jessica was the best story.
Jasmine. Wait. Which
Jasmine. Sorry,
okay,
Jasmine.
Look, he just started watching. He's never seen the show before.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I think they wanted Jasmine to win from the joint. I think Jasmine was stellar, knocking it out the park. But there was some, if we go back and remember, there was somewhere I was like, I don't think this really should have went to Jasmine. I think there were a few star bakers that we got. Yes, I know. I'm gonna stand on that. There was one where I was like, why didn't you give it to Aaron? There was one.
Oh, I fully agree. Aaron should have had way more praise this
and I think
season.
I think that there was a few like that, and I feel like they were like, it's always you. And I was like, no, I think you always wanted her to win from the jump, and I think that everyone was fighting an uphill battle against someone that was favored, and that last comment by Tom proved it. I was like, oh, okay, this all makes sense to me. You wanted that person to win from the jump.
Okay. I know what you mean.
But I do get. I'm not. This isn't discounting anything from Jasmine. Jasmine did slay, but I do think that there was it definitely for me, like, for Tom to have gone through Todd.
Tom, you're right. Tom.
Oh my God.
It's like I'm talking to my own mom trying to describe a show. You know what I mean? She's like, what's that actor? He's in that movie. He's so handsome. You know, the one.
Well, for Tom to like come back from as low as he did to come out on top, I think for a show that isn't about, winning a bunch of money and being the best of the best baker and more about the love of baking, I think I wouldn't have mind if Tom got it for that reason, where it's like,
I agree.
But to me, it just really reeked of favoritism by the end there.
Here's what I'll say. I think that every season there is a favorite for sure. There's one person where the judges are kind of like giving them the wink and the nod, and I'll agree with that. But as we see, I'll point to Dylan from last season. I think Dylan was that guy, but Dylan choked in the finale, so they couldn't give it to him. I think that for as much as the judges might lean toward Jasmine, she actually she could walk the walk. You know what I mean? She had the goods to back up that favor already.
Oh yeah. But here's the thing. Here's where I stand on this, because I think you're right. I think just pound for pound, Jasmine is the best baker. But there are if we're looking at the best quarterback in a
oh, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. If we're looking at the best quarterback or the best football team, they don't always win because sometimes they have a bad game. That's what makes it a competition. So when I see someone who is it's easier to let something like this slide because they are pound for pound the best, but I'm looking at the competition of the show. I'm like, well, nah, dog. It seems like you kind of skirted that towards. And to me, it's like, just just pick one, because if we're talking about overall, you know, ability and overall like progress and overall like wins, because that's what it really felt like, then I want to see that in earlier cuts when it was like, well, this person has done great all this time and then they
Right.
slipped up this and we cut them. And that's where it starts to aggravate me, where it's like we're picking and choosing when we want to go based on the bake and we want to go based on their overall work.
Sure,
and,
sure, sure.
and when I'm seeing like good people, like,
Like Jessica being cut mid-season.
yeah, Jessica Puiman, like a lot of people who was like, oh, you had a bad bake, but that's not considered. And then you see someone get pushed ahead. I'm like, what are we doing here? What is your institution?
I think, yeah, it's always pretty imperfect. And I think I had these thoughts too with the finale, because it's like, if we were to look at this as just a finale, like, okay, from this point forward, right, everything gets scored.
Just this
and like
one
we
episode,
don't
you
care.
mean?
Yeah, and we don't
Yeah.
care about the past. Then, I do think that Tom did more of that, had the story that they love to, where it's like, wow, you really not, you kind of struggled, but then you ramped it up. That direction is better than hers, which might have felt like the opposite direction. That being said, too, I think the other argument for the confusion over like giving somebody credit to past episodes, the reward for doing well in past episodes is making it to the next episode. You know what I mean?
Not being
So, like,
eliminated.
yeah, so you shouldn't be able to garner so much favor because you've already kind of cashed that in by being there, and then it should be a clean slate each episode. Of course, that never can work in like a human world with human judges, but like, but that's why we're gonna do mathematical bake off next season. No, but it is obviously like it's going to be imperfect. I did the one thing I do think, and
oh no, I was just agreeing with you. I was like, it just adds just a little bit of trickiness there for me, especially with the way that I see some people get judged and the way I see others get judged.
Definitely.
Without elaborating too much.
As we've seen, they took a liking to Jasmine. They also took a liking to Tom, and then were like weirdly hard on him sometimes.
I was going to say, I think it's like, I don't want to say it's like a liking or a disliking, but they develop narratives about every person in their head, and they stick with that.
And they literally
and
said
Tom's
it in this
narrative.
episode.
Tom's narrative was always like, oh, you have like these great ideas, but like it's always style over substance, which like, fine, sure. I do think that like, I want to eat Tom's bakes more because he is the more creative baker. Like he's the one who, like, if you dropped him in New York or LA and he opened a bakery, like people would line up for it because very like showy, even if it isn't like substantially a better bake. And I think that Jasmine got the narrative of like, wow, you're just excellent all around, which may or may not have been true. I don't know. I'm not a judge, but I'm just like, I can see where they leaned in and out of those narratives. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, totally. And they had, and just to kind of go over, I mean, they didn't say it quite here, but as they were going up to each of them, so like they have their little profile packages, right? We have like Jasmine, her whole thing was like, she's consistent. Tom was like, strong start, but bumpy road to the finals. That was true. And then when they went up to him, they were like, yeah, you do this form and function or whatever, style and substance thing. You need to have both, which is like, yeah, well, he's had style. He's missed a substance. Sometimes he's had both, but okay. There's like, I feel like there were other bakers where they were like really, really no substance. Like, I feel like Ian was a little bit more of the like, wow, you really make it look beautiful, but you can't eat it. But like it was, and then Aaron's thing, well, Aaron in his package was risk taker, but never got a handshake. And then also they were like, he's the flavor guy. Like he really has great flavors and he knows how to pair them up. But yeah, so yeah, they kind of love that. They really hammered those over again. And it was sort of like, well, it's kind of Jasmine's to lose here. And then I mean,
that was I was just gonna say, I think that's the bothersome thing is that they sort of just like implied that it's like it's Jasmine's show to lose. And I'm like, well, then now we're not, to Iffy's point, we're not judging based off your performance in this week. It's more just like, well, Jasmine's the favorite.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so here's the question to pose. If Jasmine hadn't won this episode, and this whole season, would there have been, I would have felt a little bit like, oh, that's also like a bummer in its own way, because I feel like she kind of did enough to earn, like I almost am kind of in the opposite direction sometimes where, because okay, for instance, I think I brought this up before, but there's like a food truck competition where There was there
Oh
was an
yeah,
Asian food
yeah.
truck and a white food truck, and and the Asian food truck won every episode until the finale, and then the white food truck won, and they gave them the prize.
Sure.
So it was like, I get it. You want to keep everybody guessing, and each episode is for itself, but this feels racist and this feels
Yeah, yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course, that's not what we have here, but I'm just saying, like, at a certain point, I also am like, well, they're kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't, because there would have been uproar if she had lost.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's like, look, the alternative is there's a universe wherein Jasmine got 5-star bakers, 2 handshakes, and doesn't win the finale, and that feels like, well, something is wrong here. Something went drastically wrong. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm
Right.
glad that Jasmine won. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a tricky one, but okay. So we'll just we'll get into the details and then see how we feel as
I
we
am
go.
okay. I'll say
Uh-huh.
this. I'm curious to hear what the pots and pans think about this one because I think I've noticed in the comments this past week that people I don't know, maybe I'm sensitive because it felt like a personal attack to me. People are like, why does Mike like Tom so much? What does he have against Toby? And I'm like, first of all, what fucking podcast are you listening to? I'm rooting for Jasmine. She's on my team. I'm just calling them like I see them.
I didn't notice.
There were a couple comments, and I'm just like, what? Lay off. A, lay off. B, I'm just calling him like I see him.
Mhm.
I think that Tom is a very creative baker who's taking bigger risks, and I think, to my personal taste, that like merits more praise than they are willing to give. I think they're like, yeah, looks cool, tastes like shit, and I'm like, well, it can't taste that bad. He's in the finale. Do you know what I mean? That being said, Jasmine's on my team. Very glad she won. So I'm curious. Okay, like us having this discussion, I just want to hear what our pots and pans think about Tom being in the finale and his performance in the finale, because it feels like there's a contingency of Bake Off fans out there who, for some reason, do not like Tom.
Oh, do
And
not
I
like
don't,
Tom.
I don't know why. I don't know why. It feels
Interesting.
like, to create a parallel, I watch a lot of Below Deck. I love Below Deck. And Captain Sandy, to me, is the best captain on earth. I would vote for her for president tomorrow. I think I've said that on this podcast. I'll double down now. If she ran for president of the United States tomorrow,
Oh,
I would
wow.
vote for her tomorrow.
All right.
And there's still a huge amount of people online who are like, I hate Captain Sandy. And I'm like, if that's you, you need to like interrogate your internalized misogyny, because there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with her. She's objectively a great captain. So I don't know what, I don't know how we're watching two different shows. I think that Tom is an exceptional baker. I don't know why you resent him being in the finale. You know what I mean?
Fascinating. Wow, I did not know this. There was Tom hate in that direction. I mean, I think this is a larger. This is like an. This is. I feel the same way about watching videos online, and seeing people react differently, and I just think it's a phenomenon of like, what the fuck world is everybody living in? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
obviously we live in a crazy time, and it's very difficult to keep your head on straight. But it is like, yeah, I think it kind of is a thing of like, we just watched the same thing. How is your takeaway that?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. I mean, to me, I would have thought it was the other way around, because Tom has felt like such an underdog in the sense of like, he hasn't done so great, but he's also like looked like he's put a lot of sweat into this. And I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of people can identify with that as like, man, I built this fucking huge beehive, and then my dad still spit
Well,
on
that's
it.
what it's like. There's like a lot of comments where it's just like, oh, Tom made a giant chocolate paperweight. Get out of here. I'm like, shut the
Oh my
fuck
God.
up, dude. Do you know how creative and difficult to execute that is? Get out of here.
Yeah,
You think you could
he
do
had to use
better?
2 vases or two big old plant pots to do
Stop
it. He didn't
sucking
have
up
a
to Paul
mold.
Hollywood. He's not going to email you. Get out of here. Tom is great.
Funny. He's yeah, maybe they see him as being like he tries too
That's what I
hard,
think
and
is-
they
I
don't
think
they can
it's-
identify with that.
Yeah, I think it's like the same people who come to the defense of people like Elon Musk. Like, I think he's a stand-up guy. It's like,
Right,
what do
out
you
of
think? He's
control.
going to give you a phone call and a handshake
Yeah.
and say thank you for defending me online? Who gives a shit?
Right. Oh, they need a kiss from the daddy. Okay, so okay, taking a break from the. Yeah, Noel was wearing a beautiful pink and orange cowboy horse.
Oh, I liked his shirt.
He made a joke at some point that something matched his shirt. I can't remember what it was. Something
Me
orange.
neither. I
Somebody's
believe it.
cake.
Sure.
But let's get into the signature. So they had to make these 12 filled and iced finger buns, 2 batches of 6 that differ in flavors and decoration. Basically, little hot dogs full of cream.
Little
Cream-
sweet hot
cream
dogs.
Never heard of it. Another great thing we learned on this
Yeah.
wonderful
Yeah.
show.
It feels like a
Um,
British pastry. It's like, we made bread and we put stuff in it. And it's like, okay, yeah,
Eat
good
it.
for you.
Eat it while we watch. Okay, so Tom did his pina colada and hot dog ice finger buns, because he did point out they're basically just hot dogs, and they are. But then but then the dog was peaches and cream.
I love
cheese
it, dude.
bratwurst.
The hot dog,
That
the
would be
hot dog
confusing.
finger bun. I'm like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's creative. It's not just
That's true.
like here's a well executed version of the bake. It's like I came up with a concept. Here's a clear pitch. Do you know what I mean? Like this would win in a marketing contest.
That's true. Yes, it feels very Willy Wonka too. It's like, ooh, what a
Yeah.
whimsical thing, and you bite in and it tastes different every time. Um, yeah, and then his other one was lemon icing mustard. Oh, sorry, that's on the buns. So I forgot that the
hmm
mustard
hmm
wasn't even mustard flavored. And then the pina colada buns, which is another great thing in there. So his whole thing was he mixed up the citric acid and the salt, and he put citric acid in his bread, and it turned out awful.
Yeah.
That's some
It's a
acidic
bummer.
bread. Yummy.
I was hoping he would, I mean, for your sake, for points wise, I
Thank
was
you.
hoping he would
Mhm.
start over, but he didn't start over. He was just like, I just gotta
It's too
serve
late.
this fucking weird bread.
No, he was like, I don't know why the dough isn't. Yeah, I think he was too far gone. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's sour bread for everybody. But okay, so with each of these signatures, we also get a little background package. We meet Tom's parents. His mom had a nice bright blue hair under her hair. Did you guys catch that?
Okay. Did you guys have the same reaction that I did, which was the beginning of Tom's package was him being like, I didn't feel like I could come out as a kid. And then they cut to his parents who look like two of the most gay supportive, like flamboyant people. I was like, these are the people you are afraid to come out to?
Well, okay, so I thought that too, but then I had a theory, which I think is common sometimes, which is maybe they were kind of strict, and then he
Oh,
helped
sure.
them
Okay.
figure it out
Okay.
'cause they're now,
Yeah,
that's a good
the
point.
parents
My
of a
my
gay
guess was
citizen.
also that they were just on TV, and so they're like,
What do we
I'm not
do?
gonna-
Take out the pride flags.
yeah. I'm not gonna come off looking like a bigot on TV. Nah.
Sure. We love it. Okay, yes, fair. But yeah, that little blue underneath did the trick. We met his partner George. He cried, but Tom didn't, so no points. Okay, so for the judging, the bread was awful. We know this.
Awful.
They loved the decoration. The rum was too dominant. Bread was awful. They said it again. Peaches and cream flavor was beautiful. Great.
Great.
Learn more about Tom. Okay, let's move on to Aaron. He did the pear and rhubarb iced finger buns, pear and yuzu compote, hazelnut creme mousseline, vanilla creme mousseline, and strawberry and rhubarb jam. He broke his toe on break. Oh yeah, that's the thing we learned about him. He broke his
And
toe.
but they never showed. Not that I want to see his feet. I'm not a feet guy. I'm not a freak. No, I shouldn't kink
But you
shame.
wanna
Okay,
see it,
I'm
yeah.
I'm really opening up a can of worms here. But I just mean like I thought he would. For it being a storyline, I thought they would show him like in a boot or hobbling around on crutches or something. But they were just like, you got to trust us. There's a broken toe right beneath the camera frame.
Oh, right. Yeah, I guess so. Sometimes I've heard that with broken toes, depending on the toe, you can't even really do anything. Maybe,
You just gotta
you kind of just got to let it sit there.
do its thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he didn't get to like do as much travel or whatever people were doing. I don't know, practicing baking. But we meet his mom, we meet his cousin. He first applied back in 2017. So this has been quite a journey.
Mm-hmm.
He cries during his background package. Yay. So
Okay,
that's
tears.
half a point for
Yeah.
Aaron. Okay, back to his finger buns. They loved the pear filling. The bread was too soft. Well, sorry, it was soft but too tight. The rhubarb worked beautifully, but the bread is a little hard on that one. So, better than Tom, but
Yeah. Low bar, but
that's
yeah.
not great. So finally we get to Jasmine. So she had her apricot and strawberry ice finger buns, lemon cream and strawberry jam, and white chocolate creme diplomat and apricot jam. Gosh, oh yeah, they cover that she was 5-time star baker this season. Amazing.
Mhm.
Tied record, right? Let's see. I guess she used her time. She didn't have a broken toe. She was able to look over the past 10 weeks, kind of bring back the flavors that really worked for her, worked for the judges. We meet her mom and brother. And then we learn that she's been studying for her medical exams all this time, which is like insane.
It's insane.
How
It's
can you do
insane.
both?
Yeah.
Yeah, people who can do multiple things, I'm
Yeah.
like, that's not allowed.
Yeah, that's not just like, but I think this goes back to your theory, right? That like the brainiacs are great at baking.
Yeah, yeah,
And I was like, all right, relax.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Relax.
You don't have to do that much.
I mean, supposedly, but like Hassan was not good.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
No, but
It
yeah,
doesn't always work. It's a
yeah.
correlation. It's not a strong one-to-one.
Sure,
Yeah.
we've got some exceptions.
Have you
but
guys been
yes.
watching Physical Asia?
No.
If you, I
No,
feel
I
like this is
want
up your
to.
alley.
Yeah, I want to, but I haven't seen it yet. I'm ready.
True.
Okay, there's one contestant who's like this. He's from Team Thailand. Uh, I don't know if he's American. He's like half black, half Thai, I think. But like, um, when they're doing his intro package, I forget what his original sport was. Volleyball. It's like he's a volleyball player, but then they're like, but then he was like, but then I just tried boxing and I won a bunch of titles. And then he's like,
Yeah.
and now I'm like a TV host. And it like he walks in like
Oh,
heels. Like he is the most personable contestant on the whole show, like makes jokes the whole time. And I'm like, hold on, you cannot be that talented at that many things. That's not fair. You don't have to be that good at
Yeah.
that. He just took up boxing for funsies and was good at it and is also like a fabulous queen. Like, get out of here. I hate that.
yeah.
Like,
No,
how are you doing this?
happens.
How are you that talented? You're like funny and strong. Get out of here.
That's hilarious. Yeah, yeah, it does happen like that, and it clearly happened in Jasmine because yeah, she's cool and chill and
Yeah.
And a
studying for her
doctor.
exams.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Also makes me think like she'll be such a great doctor because she has good bedside manner. She
Yeah.
obviously is very smart. She knows her baking, so she'll like be able to do anything under pressure, you know.
Yeah.
So pretty sweet, and she's so young, so
She'll
anything
she'll
can get
bring
better
in
at.
the good bakes for her fellow doctors. You know what I mean? Everyone at the
Mhm.
hospital's gonna love her.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's
Yeah,
nice.
she's
Yeah.
gonna be a fun one to be around.
Yeah, it is. And then it is crazy too, thinking of like people. I mean, a little tangent, but yeah, just that like like friends who have gone through residency and all that stuff. It's like the stories of them not sleeping. I understand that's like what a doctor does, but it's like wow, I just didn't even understand because it'll be like it's part of the job to stay up for 3 days. It's like oh,
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
part of my
yeah.
training. Is actually we're just at the hospital for 3 days. I'm like, well, do you
Yeah.
sleep? And they're like, well, you can like steal away a nap sometimes. I'm like, that doesn't count across 3 days.
Well, it's
Okay,
hard for
anyway.
us to fathom because we're fucking degenerate comedians who like, you know what I mean? We work for
Sure.
3 hours a day and we're like, I'm done.
Yeah, we did it.
So yeah, I'm like, oh, I gotta open my laptop for this shit. No, but yeah, and so the fact that she's studying for exams and baking, it's a very small fraction of what she'll actually have to do. Okay, so back to these buns of hers. Hers were pretty successful. The shape looks good, was a little flat. She was worried about the rising of it, but it didn't really affect anything because they loved the strawberry and mint. Apricot was delicious. So she was definitely far as they described later, she was like far ahead in the signature, and the other guys were like a
Yeah.
bit behind.
Yes.
Next, technical challenge, the final technical challenge of the season. They're supposed to make a tower of white chocolate and lemon madeleines made with a bird noisette and filled with lemon curd with the characteristic hump. I love madeleines, by the way. Big
Oh,
fan.
love a Madeline. I do. I know I touched on this a couple weeks ago, but I just want to bring up again, like white chocolate and lemon. It's that British palate, man. I don't need lemon with the white chocolate. Let me have a white chocolate
Oh, right.
Madeline or maybe a lemon Madeline, but I don't need the two together, you know?
That is true. I forgot it was lemon madeleine.
Yeah.
It's strong. I have
feel
gotten
like-
a lot of.
Oh no, I was gonna say I feel like sometimes white chocolate and citrusy stuff go together, but I get.
Yeah. Again, I'm not saying it doesn't go together. I love a Jaffa cake, chocolate and orange, sure, but every time I'm like, Great Britain, come on, give me just a chocolate thing.
Sure. Pick a lane. I know because I get a lot of baking reels because I am a fan of Bake Off. I've seen a lot of people with the Madeline mold and they do like a cool pattern, they pour some chocolate in to make that shell.
Right,
and
right,
they'll
right.
like paint it with roses or they'll do like a little like polka dot, and I never had
Yeah.
seen that before. And then I feel like I was getting a lot of those. And then this challenge came up and I'm like, oh my God, it's all
It's in the
coming together.
zeitgeist.
So yes, and they had to do that sort of ombre
Hmm.
thing with it, which was really cool. They didn't get any instructions, so it really just said make the Madeline Tower. All right. It's also raining like crazy. There's like a thunderstorm in the
Yeah, I was
summer.
gonna ask, when do you guys think they shot the like outdoor picnic with everyone? Because I'm like, it clearly didn't happen the same day. You know what I mean?
Well, they did show that people had umbrellas, so it must have cleared up by the time they decided to announce the winner. But they did show they were like, all our families are here and like they're still having a good time. And they cut to them with like clear umbrellas.
Yeah, I
So
feel
it
like
must have been really good.
usually what I see in the finale is that it's like the whole time they're cooking in the tent, they cut to people having fun outside, like licking lollipops or whatever. And this time it was
Oh,
just like,
it's
well,
supposed to be
it's raining outside.
simultaneous.
And then at the very end, they're like, and everyone's here suddenly.
Got
So I'm
it.
like, did they do all the baking? And then they're like, well, everyone come on Thursday when it's not raining anymore.
Yeah, maybe they planned it that
Yeah.
way. That would be smart. Because yeah, it looked crazy. It looked like you just couldn't, even if they were there, they wouldn't have gotten good footage or whatever. So
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, so this one's pretty quick. We'll just get into the rankings. They do their best here. They have to do nobody really has a very successful time
Hmm.
with this, I'd say. But
No
coming in
humps.
third, yeah, no humps, no characteristic humps. Which I'm not even sure. I assume that's from like when you drizzle it, you leave a little on top, like because sometimes when I
They
look
said
at
it
a
was
cookie, it
from
looks like that.
chilling the dough, but then even the when Tom and
Just
Aaron were chilling their dough, it didn't do anything.
got it. Maybe it's the weather.
Yeah.
But yes, okay. So Jasmine, she came in third. She didn't have the required number of cookies, no hump. It was underbaked, but they tasted delicious, as she always is able to pull through with. So she gets half a point. Second is Aaron. His chocolate was very thin, not much of a hump, right degree of browning, lots of curd. So he gets a point for coming in second. His whole thing was he never got first in the technical, and unfortunately, it didn't
What
happen
a
here, but
bummer.
that's
So sad.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But first went to Tom. He got a slight hump, not enough chocolate, and he did the ombre on each cookie, but that was a cute interpretation. So that's a point and a half for him coming in first. Okay. And that leads us
Can
right
I just
into
say very quickly that I thought it was hilarious that they all threw on the ribbon at the last second? Just visually, it was very funny to see how terribly they were all wrapped.
yes.
Look, they're like, I just got to get it done at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Definitely. And the fact that like they even like all the judges were like, I wish the ribbon were on top instead. And it's like, it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
matter. It's not eating, it's not going into your mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
Showstopper challenge. So for the final showstopper challenge, they get to do a tabletop centerpiece masterpiece. It is a 1.2-meter cake, which is pretty long.
I was very much a dumb American. I was like, I don't know how long that is. I'm not going to bother to look it up. And then once I saw it, I was like, that's a big ass cake.
Yeah, what I always think of is a meter is like a little bit longer than a yard. Is that correct? So yard 3 feet. So it's always like, oh, it's a little longer than 3 feet,
Yeah,
or
okay.
it's a little under like one of those things. But
Sure.
yeah, huge ass cakes, very long. I
It
guess
was the
everybody's gonna
size,
eat it.
it was like that when they sliced into one of these cakes, the slice they took out was the size of a cake. Do you know what
No,
I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, that's very true. And then it was like everybody, Aaron at some point was like, oh yeah, everyone's gonna eat this,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh yeah, I guess. I mean, for that many people, I don't know. Maybe they need to take a smaller judging slice. There was talk of American buttercream. So I looked that up. American buttercream. So I guess what we know as buttercream, it's a very sweet, simple frosting made with powdered sugar, butter, and liquid, known for its stability, while British buttercream is a less sweet, richer, and silkier frosting that is often made with a cooked sugar or meringue base.
That makes sense.
Good to
Knowing that the
know.
American version is just like the dumber, more obvious, and sweeter version, I'm like,
Right,
yep, that
right.
checks out.
Yeah, the heavier version that can travel further. Okay, and then more raining, more thunder. Oh yeah, we get to kind of see some of the past contestants gather around. So Ian was there. I mean, everybody was there. They just happened to focus on a few. We got like focus. Oh, it was funny because I just kind of forgot about like Leighton or like, it was nice to see Queen
Yeah.
Mon again. Leslie was
Yeah.
there, and they all kind of were rooting for the different people, or they got each, different person getting their own fan. So that was cute. Um, yeah, I always think this is funny because whenever I see that, I'm always like, I would love to be fourth. You know what I mean? Because then you at least get to hang out. Versus if
None
you're
of the
third, you're like,
pressure.
fuck, I had to like work the whole time and I didn't
Yeah.
win, or
Yeah.
second, I guess. But
Yeah.
fourth, you're like Toby, like chilling. Um, okay, so let's get into these beautiful, beautiful tabletop masterpieces. So Jasmine, she went first in the judging. Hers was the summer celebration. She did a cardamom sponge from week one because she was referencing all her past flavors that were successful with a raspberry and almond sponge, lemon mascarpone cream, lemon and Swiss meringue buttercream. They thought it looked beautiful. She had those like shards on it, which looked really nice.
Very
But
beautiful. Yeah.
like simple too, as she does well. They really like the cardamom sponge. That worked well. I can't imagine. Have you guys had like a cardamom flavored cake? I feel like that.
Yeah,
I was trying to. Oh,
there's
really? Uh-huh.
yeah, cardamom cake. I think no, I was thinking of the hippo, but they have a persimmon cake. But I
Oh, yeah.
definitely vaguely remember a cardamom cake from somewhere, but I cannot put my finger on it.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like it would be good. It's just like that is like a particular spice. So it's like that in the sweet context. I think of it more in like savory context. Anyway,
Right.
that they loved it the way she did it. They felt like it was a very delicate cake. She doesn't quite cry here, but cries later. But she did say she feels like she could cry, which is
Okay.
exciting.
Okay.
Getting a tease there.
Yeah.
And it's probably just so nice to be done too. Okay. So
Yeah.
then next is Aaron with his final tea party. He did a Darjeeling tea sponge and apricot and Darjeeling tea compote covered in toasted milk buttercream. Yeah, some good Indian flavors here. I think with the Darjeeling tea rep, the cardamom. Uh, Aaron at some point did break the glass bowl and had to restart a batch, so he gets
That's
half a point.
such a bummer.
It
Yeah.
was, yeah, I was so surprised. It's like, when
But
did those bowls
honestly,
break?
fitting at this
Oh
point.
yeah,
Fitting for my boy. You know, he's been having just trouble from the joint, from the jump, I mean. So,
Yeah.
oh yeah. No, I know he breaks his toe. This bowl cracks under the pressure. Even though, again, yeah, I'm like mixing bowls. Those are like super intense tempered glass.
Yeah,
I
you're
think they'd be
supposed to be
fine.
able to do whatever. You should be able to drop it and it shouldn't break, but you know.
Right. Rigged.
yeah.
But yeah, so he brings us up. Oh, okay. The piping. They were like, this here looks a little rushed. And he's like, yeah, that was my design choice.
I
Haha.
liked that design choice. Okay, it's tough because any one of these cakes individually, I'd be like, if I saw that just scrolling through Instagram, I would think it's so pretty. But again, going back to where Tom's creativity takes over, it's like Tom's just looked so stunning. Like you were just saying like Jasmine's looked fine. I'm like Jasmine's looked beautiful. I love the way that Jasmine's looked. It just looked mediocre next to Tom's. Do you know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
think it's like maximalist versus, I mean, Tom's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
so
yeah.
maximalist, I think.
And I
I'm
have
not
seen
sure.
that, like the Aaron style of piping, I have seen that sort of like become trendy with modern bakes.
Interesting.
But I think it's just like it's a very specific aesthetic that is not like as timeless as the Great British Bake Off judges would like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, and they're not the best with the new trends, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, their other complaint was they didn't find like a proper hero flavor, so the apricot
Which
wasn't
is
coming through enough.
such a bummer because it was like a called shot because Noel was like, oh, like Aaron was describing his cake and Noel was like, they're going to say you don't have a hero flavor. They love talking about a hero flavor. And Aaron was like, yeah, probably. I don't know. And then they
Right.
said it and you just saw
Yeah,
Aaron's
no.
face fall where he's like, I knew it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
This is he's just this is like as much as I, went to bat for, Tom in this versus this, Aaron kind of is right about where I expected him. Like he's always kind of had a tough time. And I don't even mean that like in a diss way, just like where he's at in his baker's journey. Like I
Sure.
think he was kind of outclassed in that way. And he really, was swinging for the fences, and I think that just automatically will complicate things.
I'm still going to blame racism forever. I think they just saw a black man and they're like, we're not giving you a handshake.
Never got the handshake. This is
Yeah.
true. They also, yeah, his sponge was a little overbaked, which also kind of looked like he took a hit from that. I think, yeah, it was tough to see that. I think I was surprised that they were also so, I understand they had to be honest here because it could be anybody's at this point, but
Sure.
I was surprised it felt like they were extra honest and harsh for a finale. Like I feel like normally the end they try to highlight good things and they go, but it is a little
Yeah,
dry,
yeah,
but
yeah.
and they try to lead or at least really emphasize the good things so that you're leaving on a high note. And I feel like they
Yeah.
didn't do that this
No, they
episode.
were really kicking Tom and Aaron while they were down. They're like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I was
stay
surprised.
down.
Yeah, you guys aren't good enough. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that was tough to see on Aaron's face. But we'll close it out with Tom. His all roads lead to the tent table cake. He had the raspberry chiffon sponge, raspberry and basil syrup, mango and passion fruit ganache with fresh raspberries. In the middle, like the famous Great British Bake Off cake, which they're referencing from like the opening when you and the icon on Netflix or whatever, where it's just like a cake with a bunch of raspberries on top, which was very cool. And the judges took a look at that and they were like, "This is absolutely stunning." They love the famous cake nod. Unlike the modern piping, they were very much like, "Oh, the
Did we
tradition
think
of
it
cake."
was weird that there was no green moss on the back of the cake? Did you also clock that? It was like the side that was facing the judges was all green, and then the side that was facing the camera was just a bare cake. And I was like, that's a little bit tricky.
Oh, that's funny. I don't think I noticed that, or I think I thought it was just like the top. I didn't realize the one facing the judge was fully covered.
Yeah. I was
That's
like,
funny.
okay, look, you got to play to your audience, and your audience is
Yeah.
those two judges. But I'm like, everyone in the world is seeing the back of this cake right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. That's the world angle. But yeah, they said it tastes amazing. Chiffon was particularly nice. This was where Paul Hollywood said it in a way that felt finale like, where he was like, it was particularly nice. It was a little, he said concertinade down, which I did not know that word, but it means like
Oh,
compacted down.
concertina. Yeah. He's talked about
Concertina.
that in other things. It's like when the weight of the top of the bake like just
Yeah,
presses
yeah.
down on the bottom of the bake.
Yeah, fascinating. So he said that, down at the bottom because of the weight. But yeah, he kind of buried that in a way that felt more like a, uplifting
Yeah.
finale judging. They said a lot going on, managed to balance it. He couldn't have improved this cake. It was style and substance. So he accomplished his thing that they had set out to make him accomplish.
And
He
yet, not
definitely
good
was
enough, sucker.
happy.
Get out of here. This is
I
Jasmine's
know.
show.
And it was very good. I feel like the way that Tom was like, it was just good enough to make me hope. And I like totally get that.
Yeah.
It's like otherwise he would have a little bit of peace,
Yeah.
but he was up until the very last moment wondering if it could have been him. And that is kind of the downside of doing well in that final
Yeah,
showstopper.
by that same token, Aaron was granted that piece because they were just like, there's no hero flavor. And he's like, well, I know it's not me. So good luck to
Right.
both Tom and Jasmine.
Yeah. Be blessed, y'all.
Yeah, time to go find Toby and chill in the
Yeah, exactly.
chill in the merry-go-round. Okay. So basically at this deliberations table, they were trying to toss it up between, they were saying like, well, it could be, Tom and Jasmine's showstoppers were on a par. So I counted that as in line because they were kind of the ones up in the air.
Okay.
It doesn't really.
You're also kicking Aaron while he's
factor
down there at the bottom with points, and you're like, no more points for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, it's okay. Luckily, got those starting over points. There's more to come.
That's
I'm
true.
sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But the star baker winner goes to Jasmine. Very
Woo!
exciting. It was always you, as they say. So yes, Jasmine cries. We get half a point. You get half a point for that.
Thank you. Great.
It was done. She was so, she was up lifting her little cake. The funny thing is that cake stand thing to me just looks pretty anticlimactic. Like I get that's actually like a great trophy, and you can put your cakes on it, great. But it looks like it's like I wish they were just holding out like a big silver cup.
I feel that way about most like the MasterChef trophy. I'm always like, that doesn't look that nice. It looks like you won like it's just a like glass, like a crystal spire. It looks like you won like best realtor Midwest 2007. Right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's in your shelf. Yeah, that's
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but it's great. It was cute. It was cool to finally to see Jasmine. I feel like she's always been very calm and collected, so it was cool to see her very excited. There was also a shot of her like celebrating with everybody before she turned back to the camera.
Yeah, that was
a
cute.
Good, representation of her being like for the people's princess. We got a little bit of since Great British Bake Off montage here. Puimon got a haircut from Nadia. I'm just naming some highlights.
Yeah,
that was cute. A little merging of worlds to see Jessica's new drag king alter ego, Drool Holywood.
Perfect. Loved it.
Blue eyes, the whole shebang. They showed Ian's successful proposal, which we already knew from Instagram. Jasmine aced her medical exams, no surprise there, but also kind of surprising given she had to win Bake Off as well. And finally at the end, it was in loving memory of Dan Blackman, who was we looked up at, it was an editor of the show. He was an editor of the show. Unfortunately passed away. But yeah,
Rest his
so how are we feeling before we get into the points breakdown?
How are we feeling? I feel fucking great. I just won, baby. We're going to the Cheesecake Factory, dog.
No feelings here.
Well, yeah, while you were gone, we got into Cheesecake Factory. Mike loves Cheesecake Factory, and we were talking to Brian David Gilbert about it, of just like the merits. Merits, you know. So we might be going there. Gotta take Mike out there.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm a Yard House guy myself. If we're choosing.
Okay,
I love a Yard House.
I could see a rivalry. I do like Yard House too.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like it more, but
those are not in the same class. They're in the same mall, but that is not the same caliber of establishment.
But you're at the mall and you have one meal. Then they immediately become rivals. Fighting for you.
I guess, but by that token, you could also say that like Auntie Anne's and Yardbird are rivals, and it's like not really.
Yeah, if you're willing to eat a pretzel only. You know? Okay, so let's get into this points breakdown leading up to Mike's eventual win. So for crying, we had Aaron and Jasmine. No tears from Tom this episode, which is annoying for me. Half a point each. Starting over, Aaron and Jasmine again. Yeah, Jasmine started something over. I missed it, but shout out to Judy again for catching the ones I can't find. Dropping on the floor. Apparently Tom dropped something on the floor. Negative half a point. Technical third, Aaron, half a point. Technical second, Jasmine, a point. Technical first, Tom, a point and a half. Inline, Tom and Jasmine for a point. And winner, Jasmine, for 4 points. And that leaves our finals in this episode. Iffy and I gained 2 points. Mike gained 6.5 points.
6.5.
Propelling him into the lead. So Iffy ends with 27.5 points. Good showing. 2 points at the end there. I at 45. And Mike with 51.5 points.
51.5, baby. Cheesecake Factory, here we come.
How does it feel? What cheesecake will you be ordering?
It's not going to be the tuxedo cheesecake because I had that earlier today, and I'm not joking.
Wow, you just were there? Can they keep you away?
They simply can't, and you gotta give them a little bit of variety on the menu. So it's not going to be the tuxedo cheesecake.
What is the tuxedo cheesecake? That's just
it's like it's the base layer is like chocolate cake, so you get your cake and your cheesecake at the same time, then like some ganache, and then you get like a freckled chocolate-y cheesecake layer on top.
All right.
It's great.
Well, maybe we'll see it again. Any final thoughts, Iffy, with this wrap up?
Yeah, just gotta do better next season.
Sure.
Let's do better next season.
Yeah, and as you heard at the top of this episode, Pots and Pans, we will be doing an old season of either Top Chef or Bake Off, and we will figure out which one that is and figure out how we draft that. But very exciting. I mean, there are 2 favorite shows, probably the podcast's 2 favorite shows as far as what we love covering. MasterChef is a distant
one of the options for that our Pots and Pans could vote on was Next Level Baker, and I didn't look at the results. I don't know how many votes that one got. I can't imagine it was a lot. I think people don't like it when we cover Gordon Ramsay shows, but there are so many of them and they're so good.
Interesting. I didn't know he was doing that. Yeah. Okay, well, you voted, we listened.
Our producer Val says 11 votes for Next Level Baker.
So we see you.
I believe that is less than a quarter of the amount of votes that random old season of Top Chef or Bake Off got. So,
well, maybe in the future, maybe when it becomes a huge hit on Fox, or whatever. I'm guessing Fox. Sure. Then we'll circle back. But anyway, thank you everybody for following along with us this Great British Bake Off 2025 season. We'll see you at Cheesecake Factory, I guess. Thanks. If you like this podcast, share it with someone, but also please go to MaximumFun.org/join where you can support us for as little as $5 a month. It really helps us out and keeps us going. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, drop us a line at Instagram at TV Chef Fantasy League and follow us, or send us an email at chef@MaximumFun.org. If you're doing your own Great British Bake Off Fantasy League or whatever league, now that we're changing to either past Top Chef or Bake Off League, with friends, please tag us and tell us how you're doing. We have merch. Check it out at maxfunstore.com. For full unedited episodes, you can check us out on YouTube. Thanks again to my co-hosts, Mike Cabalon and Ifiwadiwe. TV Chef Fantasy League is a Maximum Fun production. Our producer is Valerie Moffat. Our engineer is Gabe Mara. Our theme song is by Dylan Van Auken. Our artwork is by Sabrina Volante. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube at TV Chef Fantasy League.